the 1970s stands as a pivotal era in modern history, marked by an eclectic blend of social, political, and cultural transformations that left an indelible mark on the global landscape. From the rise of disco and the birth of punk rock to the Watergate scandal and the end of the Vietnam War, this decade was a whirlwind of change and upheaval. The 1970s saw the continuation of the countercultural movements of the 1960s, with a newfound emphasis on individualism and self-expression. Discotheques became the epicenter of nightlife, as the pulsating rhythms of disco music captivated audiences worldwide. Meanwhile, the punk rock movement emerged as a raw and rebellious response to the mainstream, with bands like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones challenging societal norms with their anarchic ethos. The political landscape of the 1970s was characterized by both disillusionment and activism. The Watergate scandal, which culminated in the resignation of President Richard Nixon, shook the foundations of American democracy and eroded public trust in government institutions. Simultaneously, grassroots movements for civil rights, women's rights, and environmentalism gained momentum, reshaping the political discourse and laying the groundwork for future social change. The 1970s marked the conclusion of the Vietnam War, a conflict that had deeply divided American society and claimed the lives of thousands of soldiers and civilians. The war's conclusion brought a sense of relief, but also prompted a period of introspection as nations grappled with the legacy of the conflict and its impact on global geopolitics. Advancements in technology played a significant role in shaping the cultural landscape of the 1970s. The proliferation of color television brought iconic shows like Moss H, Happy Days, and Saturday Night Live into living rooms across the nation, while the advent of video games and home computers laid the groundwork for the digital revolution that would follow in the decades to come. The legacy of the 1970s continues to reverberate in contemporary society, serving as a touchstone for cultural nostalgia and political reflection. From its musical innovations to its seismic political shifts, the 1970s remains a dynamic and influential decade that continues to shape our collective consciousness. In hindsight, the 1970s emerges as a decade of contradictions and complexities, characterized by both turmoil and triumph. As we reflect on this transformative era, we are reminded of the enduring power of human resilience and the capacity for change in the face of adversity.